Hello everyone. TED Talk that I chose to do a critical analysis on the topic. Our treatment of HIV has advanced. Why hasn't the stigma changed? By Arik Hartmann. Content. The supporting idea used in this video allows us to know the story of the treatment of HIV has significantly advanced over the past 3 decades. Why hasn't our perception of people with the disease advanced along with it? After being diagnosed with HIV, Arik Hartmann chose to live transparently, being open about his status, in an effort to educate people. In this candid, personal talk, he shares what it's like to live with HIV and calls on us to dismiss our misconceptions about the disease. Main point: the treatment for HIV is called antiretroviral therapy, ART. ART involves taking a combination of HIV medicines called an HIV treatment regimen every day. ART is recommended for everyone who has HIV. ART can't cure HIV, but HIV medicines help people with HIV live longer, healthier lives. One HIV treatment, called antiretroviral therapy, ART. ART is associated with the use of a variety of HIV drugs, called HIV remedies daily too. ART is recommended for all people with HIV. People with HIV should start taking HIV medication as soon as possible. ART is not a cure for HIV, but HIV medicines can help people with HIV live longer and healthier. ART also reduces the risk of HIV transmission. 3. The main goal of HIV treatment is to reduce a person's viral load to undetected levels. Undetectable viral load means that the level of HIV in the blood is too low to be detected by a viral load test. HIV-infected persons who effectively maintain an undetectable viral load are not at risk of transmitting HIV to an HIV-infected partner through sex. Arik Hartmann chose to live a life that is transparent, open about his status to educate people. In this honest private talk, he shared what it was like to live with HIV and urged us to end misunderstandings about the disease, so he wanted to start the conversation with a visualization. Taking a lot of sick people in photos, Arik Hartmann wants everyone to take a moment and look at the pictures, and pondering some of the things that really came to mind and what those words were. Then Arik Hartmann gave everyone who looked at what separates this man from him after looking at the pictures. Internal previews. The man in this picture is David Kirby and was taken in 1990 while he was dying of AIDS and was published in Life magazine, which is the only thing that separates me from Kirby. 30 years of medical advancement in the treatment of HIV and AIDS. So what Arik Hartmann next asks is, if we make exponential progress in the fight against HIV, why are we not aware of people who are infected with the virus? Why does HIV trigger this reaction from us when it's so easy to manage? When did the stigmatization happen and why was it not reduced? And these questions are not easy to answer. They're a gathering of factors and ideas. Powerful, like Kirby's. These are the faces of the AIDS crisis of the 80s and 90s. And during that time, the crisis had a marked impact on the stigmatized people, and that is gay. So what people see is a very frightening thing that happens to a group of people on the edge of society. Internal summaries. Arik Hartmann was diagnosed with HIV in 2014 at his university clinic after suffering a flu-like illness. After revealing his HIV status to his roommates, he faced an increasing spread and was eventually asked to leave the house he rented. Since then, he decided to be open about his HIV status and use it to open up discussions and educate others. He began to address the ignorance and inaccurate information about HIV/AIDS within his local community in Louisiana, and, even more surprising, in the gay community. Using dating apps like Grindr and Tinder as a medium of support for HIV, he began educating strangers about HIV/AIDS and helping newly diagnosed people heal and care. Hartmann believes that by being transparent with our illness and our health, we can all contribute and educate those around us and hopefully help eliminate the damaging stigma. Beginning the speech. First of all, the video was released, Arik Hartmann said. HIV treatment has made great strides over the past 3 decades. So why has our perception of people with the disease not progressed along with it? After being diagnosed with HIV, Arik Hartmann chose to live a life that is transparent, open about his status to educate people. In this straightforward personal talk, he shared what it was like living with HIV and urged us to dismiss the misunderstandings about the disease that I learned about diseases of HIV and learned how to treat the disease. HIV is very well told by Mr. Arik Hartmann that made the audience interested in what he said. Ending the speech, we've all heard the phrase to see the forest through the trees, so I implore all of you here to really see the human through the disease. It's a very easy thing to see numbers and statistics and only see the perceived dangers. It's a much harder thing to see all the faces behind those numbers. So when you find yourself thinking those things, those words, what you might have thought looking at David Kirby, I ask you instead, think son, or think brother, think friend, and most importantly, think human. Seek education when faced with ignorance, and always be mindful, and always be compassionate. Visual aids. Arik Hartmann kicked off this talk by showing all of the many photos and pictures, and then asked what word comes to mind when everyone looks at him. What separates the man from him? This makes the listeners more interested in what they say. Video analysis. HIV/AIDS education initiatives are a shared responsibility, not limited to the health sector, but for everyone and everyone. It could be called a global crisis with victims around the world. Inadequate information about the global spread of this disease can have serious consequences for global economic growth and social sustainability. Therefore, creativity, collaboration from all sectors of society are essential to find solutions to mitigate and suppress the spread. According to UNAIDS 2008, HIV/AIDS is one of the greatest challenges, the largest in sustainable economic, social and civil society development. Today it is a global crisis that destroys every area and every sector of our entire society. No region of the world is spared. The epidemic continues to be highly dynamic, growing and characterizing as the virus takes advantage of new opportunities for transmission. An effective response therefore requires action that is urgent and sustainable by individuals, non-governmental and government partners. In addition, the complex and devastating epidemic, like HIV/AIDS, requires innovation and sensitization around the world. This is the link. Our treatment of HIV has advanced. Why hasn't the stigma changed? By Arik Hartmann. If anyone wants to see it, open this link. Thank you.